It is inevitable to happen. And this, my friend, is why you should never give up. So, in this video, my friend, my intention is to contemplate a couple of quotes from Neville Goddard, actually from his book. Like, I have been studying his material for a while. So basically, this is the fate is your fortune, and the quotes are from the first chapter before Abraham was. And by understanding these quotes that we'll contemplate together, you know exactly what it means to be living in the end, because you might have heard that idea already. Like Neville in his teaching states that you should be living in your end, in the end of your desire already being manifested. But practically, how does that happen? Like, how do you reach that state of awareness in which you are able to live from the end? Well, again, my friend, my intention with this video is to help you understand exactly how to reach that state. So that being the case, let's directly begin. The first quote I wanted to contemplate together with you, and this was something I was contemplating with myself a couple of days back in meditation, is that basically we need to answer the question, who am I? So we need to understand what is our nature, who we are at the core of our being. Because if you were to shift states, if you were to embody the state of our desire already being fulfilled and have absolute confidence and certainty that it is inevitable that it will manifest, we need to know the reasoning behind it, right? So we need to know how we can transition from our limited state of awareness to a deeper state of presence awareness. And let me guide you through an experience now by reading these quotes and contemplating together. And I want you to contemplate with me, actually. So here is what Neville says in the first chapter before Abraham was. I am the eternal nothingness, containing within my formless self to be all things, the capacity to be all things. So why is that true? Like, what is the reasoning behind this? Well, think about it this way. For you to experience anything in your life, you need to be aware that you're experiencing it. Now, I am the eternal nothingness. Eternal, since there is like, you have all of eternity to experience anything. If we think of this eternal nothingness as your presence awareness, and if that presence awareness was everybody's presence awareness, so it has infinite number of lifetimes to experience anything that it wants. And so, like, time as a concept now starts to break down a little, because if the same I that is looking through my eyes now is the same eye that is looking through your eyes now, it's the same awareness. Now it must be eternal. If it's the same, it has the potential of living infinite number of lifetimes. And so ultimately this awareness, before it's expressed, before it expressed its potential, it's nothing. So I am the eternal nothingness, containing within my formless self. Before I experience myself as a man, I need to be formless. Before I have the awareness of being a man, I need to be beyond form. How else can I call myself to be man, right? There needs to be an awareness which is before the experience of you being a man or a woman. So I am the eternal nothingness, containing within my formless self the capacity to be all things. That's why I can be all things, because I am formless, and I am nothingness from that primordial intrinsic state of presence awareness, which you can follow. Just withdraw your awareness from anything that you're experiencing, and you always go back to that pure naked state of presence awareness. That state has the capacity to be all things. So it's actually, from that state, it is inevitable. From that state, it is inevitable for you to experience what you want to experience. I am that, here is the next thing. I am that in which all my conception of myself live and move and have their being. Who is that? I am that. I am that in which all my conceptions of myself live and move and have their being. Now, for you to conceive something about yourself, you need to be aware of its existence. I am that existence. I am that awareness of being. I am that presence awareness. And I am that in which all my conceptions, I am that in which all my conceptions of myself live and move and have their being, and apart from which they are not. So apart from that presence awareness, nothing that you conceive about yourself cannot exist, meaning that you must be there to have the experience of anything that you conceive yourself to be, meaning that it is inevitable for your desire to manifest. If first you can conceive of it, and then you can like nurture it in your awareness, play with it in your awareness, like let it overwhelm your awareness, let it run in your imagination, run wild. Then because you are before it, because you are the one who has conceived it, you must be the one who reaps the fruit, right? So it is inevitable for it to manifest. And here is the next thing. I dwell within every conception of myself. So anything that you experience, you dwell within it. From this withinness, I ever seek to transcend all conceptions of myself. Now, if you can experience yourself as anything, any conception that you have, any desire that you have, if you can experience that in your consciousness, you're always seeking to transcend that conception of yourself because it is limiting you. Now, if you exist before, like the conceiver of the conceptions that you have of yourself must exist beyond their presence. So it's like it is beyond, it is their giver, it gives them life. And now, obviously, it must ever seek to transcend every conception of yourself. Now, practically, what does that mean? Well, if you have conceived yourself to be in a limited place now in your life, that same awareness that has conceived the limited place in which you find yourself is the same awareness that will get you out of it, and it will help you manifest your desire if you let it run in your imagination wild, freely. Because it's always the same awareness that needs to be aware of anything that you experience. The conceiver, just think about this for a moment. The conceiver of any conception, by default, by meaning, it must be beyond its conception, which means that it is free of the conception. And now, if you find yourself in a limited place and you're experiencing limiting circumstances, since you have conceived those limiting circumstances, this means that you are beyond. Since you have the ability to conceive them, the conceiver, who is that? Presence awareness. Who are you? I am. Presence of being. This presence of being is beyond any limitation that you have put on yourself. It is also beyond any manifestation that you want to experience. But since it is beyond it, then it becomes inevitable that it will be experienced. And here is where it ends. Like, this is the last quote I want us to contemplate. By the very woe of my being, I transcend my conceptions of myself. It's a woe that I must exist to experience anything. And by that very woe, I transcend my conceptions of myself. Now, for me to experience any conception that I have of myself and like have an inward experience of it, I must be beyond it. Because if I wasn't beyond it, who would be the one who is having the experience of it? Like, how? If I wasn't beyond it, then I would be lost in that conception of myself. And I wouldn't be able to become anything else. But the reality of life is that you constantly shift from one state to another. So objectively, your reality has already proven that you cannot be rooted in one state and never get out of it. So that being the case, by the very woe of my being, I transcend my conceptions of myself. It's inevitable that you transcend the skepticism that you have of your manifestation. But this only happens only as I believe myself to be that which does transcend. So you need to understand that your primordial I, the most ancient, the most deep part of you, I, presence awareness, it is beyond any limitation, as it is also beyond any desire that you have. And if it is beyond, it also has the potential for every experience, as Neville stated. It's like, within my Formless, I am the eternal nothingness containing within my formless self the capacity to be all things. So if you have the capacity to be all things, then you cannot be anything. You cannot be one thing and then not the other. So this awareness is free of all forms, meaning that it's free of all limitation, meaning that it's free of all of your desires. And at the same time, it's always moving, like it's always moving from one state to another. So if you find yourself to be in a stuck state now, in a limited state, and you cannot let it go, well, look for who you are. What is your nature? What is your presence? I am the woe of being, and beside me there is no other woe. I am that I am. This is what it means to live in the end, my friend. For you to conjure up all the faith that is required to maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled consistently in your everyday life, you need to know what is your nature. Your nature, beyond any conception. The conceiver who conceives the conceptions you have of yourself is beyond any of the conceptions it has of itself. So you must go back to that primordial state of presence awareness in which creation is already complete. Because if you can experience, like if you're aware, if you perceive your perception of yourself, you must be beyond those perceptions. If you're beyond those perceptions, in that primordial state of presence awareness, you are complete. From that state of awareness, you can embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled. So if this is gratitude, if this is the feeling of ecstasy, if this is the feeling of beauty, if this is the feeling of love, it is already contained within your primordial state of presence awareness. So the journey to the manifestation of your desire is not a journey of attaining anything. It's actually a journey of letting go of what you and who you think you are, that is not capable of experiencing what you want. And you let go of who you think you are, that is not capable of experiencing what you want, by withdrawing your awareness consistently back, deeper and deeper to that primordial state of presence awareness. So answer me this question. Who are you? How do you know that you are what you think you are? If there is a knowing, then you cannot be what is known, because obviously there is a knower of what is being known. Who is that? Go deeper, go deeper. From that state, it is easy to embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled and to live in the end, because it makes sense. Like eternity, generally we can't experience eternity, but if we see that the conceiver must be beyond any of its conceptions, now this makes letting go easy. And so it's like you see that if you're the conceiver, you must be beyond any of your conceptions, which means that you will conceive for eternity. And if you'll be conceiving for eternity, it's inevitable that you conceive of the state of your desire already being fulfilled. So this is what faith means: surrender, letting go, back to that primordial state of your being, presence awareness. Hope this contemplation made sense, my friend. If this is the case, if you found it useful and valuable, and if you like this content, like it, comment down below, let me know what is your experience. Let me know what is your biggest epiphany or two that you have found from the work of Neville Goddard. I love this guy. He's like such an inspiration to me. I would love to discuss. So let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you are new to it. And inside, we'll be discussing a lot of Law of Assumption and Neville Goddard teachings. So if this is something you find exciting, subscribe to it, and I would love to see you around. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.